Y'all know what time it is. You're listening to the Urban Sports Scene. I'm Wole. The homie Ray Jeezy is out. But before we dive into tonight's show, let's knock out some logistics. Hey, you can check our website out, which is the www.urbansportscene.com. You can subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Make sure you subscribe to the Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel. If you are in the YouTube chat, we accept super chats. Super chats help us support the show. The super chats will be prioritized within over all comments. Don't forget to tweet us at Urban Sports Scene. Hit us up on IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene, and also like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. You can also join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Just search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. All right, my man Will T used to say this, so I'm gonna say it for him. Let's get into our tradition, the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. Co-host of the Capital Hoop Caucus on ESPN 630 DC and Washington Wizards beat reporter Troy Haliburton will join me to talk about John Wall retiring. I think we had to tap into this. I didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, so I wanted to talk about this week, and I had to get a guy who covered the Wall beat extensively, back in the day. So let me have him on. What's going on, Troy? What's going on, my guy?
My brother Wole, man, how you living? Look, I greatly appreciate you bringing me on. And anytime I get to, get on any platform and sing the praises of my man, number 2, John Wall, I'll be happy to do that.
I mean, I had to talk about it, man. The first person I thought of was you. As soon as I thought about I'm doing this show, it was like a guy we have kind of similar appreciation for John Wall. You know what I mean? So
of course.
Off the rip. So Troy, I just want to start with that, right? John Wall announced he was retiring last week. What came to your mind when you heard the news?
What came to my mind was that I was glad that he finally was able to really kind of come at peace with the fact that that his career of playing in the NBA was probably coming to an end. I know that over the last 2 or 3 years it's been kind of rough for him. With him kind of wanting to be back in the league and just really not getting that opportunity and not getting those phone calls. And that's tough for any athlete, to have to have that harsh realization when that phone stops ringing. And so, I honestly believe that John, the fact that he was ready to make that next chapter in his life, like I feel like that's a big step for him just as a person.
Yeah, he's good at it too. Like him being an NBA TV, he's really good at it. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Like that's what came to my mind first was like he just couldn't tap back into an NBA team. You know what I mean? That's what first came to my mind. It was like, especially he was trying hard, like you said, like he was trying to get back into the game. Situations happen, NBA, you know how the NBA is. He was trying to get back on the team, but it is what it is. But my first thought was like, man, what a great career. You know what I mean? Injuries hampered it, but like a great career. To me, a lot of people talk about like I think people they live in the moment, right? But they kind of forget what time it was when Wall was doing this thing. A lot of people are now like, Kyrie Irving's one of the top point guards in the league, but at the time, when he was doing this thing, I used to make the argument that John Wall was better than Kyrie Irving because to me, John Wall could uplift a team by himself, and Kyrie went for a lot of time, for most of his career in Cleveland before LeBron got there. It was a struggle for him to even get. It was a struggle. That team was always perennial losers, right? But John Wall, when he was owning and doing this thing, I always felt like, you know what, John Wall deserves a lot of appreciation and attention because, John Wall was carrying that team. The city was Wall.
Yeah, no, the city was definitely Wall, and I feel like beyond the fact that what I'm saying, what he was doing like on the court, that he really represented the city off of the court, and so, but let's strictly talk about the on court stuff for this moment right now.
Yeah,
what I'm saying, like when we got to remember that when John Wall was drafted to the Wizards in 2010, that they was still kind of in that valley of what had transpired from the Gilbert Arenas era. And I know Gilbert Arenas was still here, but he wasn't in the mood to be anybody's mentor. I think that Gilbert has even admitted, on public record that, he wasn't the best veteran, that he was always joking around in the locker room, that he was a bad influence on the younger guys like a Nick Young and Andre Blatch and JaVale McGee. And those Wizards teams were really known as being knuckleheads. And so really, Wall, that's what Wall had to deal with when he first came to DC. And I think that what he did was he took them from obscurity to relevancy in such a short time span. And I think I really agree with what you said, that it's a really what have you done for me lately type of
Mhm.
world that we live in. But also we getting old, Wale, because when John Wall hit that shot against the Celtics, that was 8 years ago. So
Bruh.
like,
That bruh, like you all right, so you got it's kind of you segueing into it. Like that's my what is the moment, what is that John Wall moment for you? Because that's the moment for me, because I was at the game covering it, and like knowing how that game was going, he pulls up and he had the heart to take that three in game 5 in game 6. Like he had the heart to take that shot, you know what I mean? And to make that shot. Like for you, what is like the big Wall moment for you?
yeah, well, like, the big moment for me is definitely the shot.
Yeah,
You can't
yeah,
beat that shot, right?
yeah,
As far
no.
as really saving the series with the season on the line, that
Facts.
he really went out there. The play wasn't even supposed to be run for him. That
Mhm.
the fact that he went out there and just took the ball and really saved the Wizards season from at that moment.
Mhm.
But to me, one of my favorite memories of John Wall was in that same playoff run in 2017, was the closeout game versus the Atlanta Hawks, where he had 42 points. I think that right there to me
Mhm.
was the height of John Wall and his superpowers. This is a guy who could,
Mhm.
I think one of the things that people, when they were comparing him to Kyrie Irving, it used to be, oh, well, he can't score the basketball. Well, he showed you he could go
Mhm.
out there and dominate a team by scoring the basketball and putting them out the playoffs.
Facts. That playoff run was amazing. Like he carried that team. If he didn't get hurt, like if he didn't get hurt, like I always feel like they had a chance to do something special in that play in that playoff run. Because that one more than even more than the Celtics one, I
Yeah,
felt like
and
I
you
thought
know
that was
what? The
lined
thing
up.
is,
Hmm.
I think that well, one of the things that that kind of grinds my gears a little bit is when I see people online when they say, "Oh, well, John Wall didn't win anything, so
Hmm.
that he shouldn't be honored as a Wizard." And I'm like, okay, he didn't win a championship, but they were perennial playoff contenders with
Facts.
20 playoff victories over that time span.
Facts,
Like,
bro.
I'm saying, and 20 playoff victories is nothing to sneeze at. Like, that's a real amount of sustainable and tangible winning. And
Hmm.
so, I think that there are a lot of people out there who say, "Oh, well, he didn't make it to the conference finals," and he did the best that he could with the rosters and stuff they were putting together. And the man never had a backup the entire time that he was in DC. And
Hmm.
that, like, they actually did have tangible success. 20 playoff victories is a lot of playoff victories over a 4-year playoff run.
No, he was special to me. I thought he was at that time frame top 3, 4 point guards in the game. Like, and that's when the high level point guard play. Like, he was that good because I'm all about uplifting your teammates, and he made guys better.
Exactly.
He gave Otto Porter the bag basically. Like, that's how good John Wall was. You know what I mean? Like, he deserves a lot of credit.
The, there are countless guys that he got paid, man. Otto
Yeah.
Porter, Trevor Ariza,
Hmm.
Martell Webster.
Hmm.
Uh, let's see, who else? Who else did he get paid? Cartier Martin. Look, you know what I'm saying? Look,
Yeah.
he was getting everybody paid.
Yeah.
Jared
Yeah. He was like
Dudley.
Oprah out there. He was
Right?
like Oprah out there, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And so, like, to me, look, shout out to Stephen Powell. I just saw he just said
Yeah.
Andre Miller. Look, if we're
Yeah.
gonna tell Andre Miller at 40 years old, if we're gonna say that was a backup point guard, then I guess we should send Ernie Grunfeld a fruit basket or something for all the great service that he did. Come on, man.
I know you ain't lying, bro. You
We
ain't
talking
lying.
about
I
it.
know people be wilding. They be wilding, bro. I'm sorry, they be wilding. Alexander Wilson says, "Did John Wall reach his full potential?" I'll let you answer that.
So this is the thing. So I can say that John Wall had a successful career, and I can also admit that I don't believe John Wall reached his full potential. And I think that the injuries really kind of ravaged the end of his career. When you're talking about the fact that that he was playing so many minutes, and that he had arthritic knees, he had bone spurs in his foot that he really shouldn't have been playing on. And then so by the time he ended up tearing his Achilles, like that pretty much was a death sentence for his athleticism as an NBA point guard. And so I don't think that he lived up to his full potential, because the full potential John Wall would probably still be playing right now. So
Yeah.
so no, to be accurate and to be fair, like I say, I can think that he had a very successful career while also not reaching his full potential.
No, I agree with you. I think that's the best way to state it. I feel like because of what happened towards the end with injuries, I feel like didn't reach his max potential. Because I believe that his max potential, we'll be talking about him like we talk about, like how we talk about Kyrie right now, or how we talk about some of the great or really like marquee point guards to this day. You know what I mean? Like how we talk about, to be honest with you, how folks still talk about Chris Paul, right? Even though he's not the same Chris Paul, but how they talk, how they admire him. I think John Wall be on that same clout because John Wall, again, before the injuries, we gotta look at what he was doing. And he was top. He was one of the best, arguably the best. I'll say this, arguably the best point guard, arguably the best true point guard in the game. And let me say that, the best true point guard in the game. That tells you how he was as a player with Washington, and doing it in Washington, right? And with that type of ownership and like general managers, the general manager, like he needs to be appreciated. The man Cam put this out there for you. He said one of my favorite moments that no one talks about was the 360 layup against the New York Knicks on Christmas Day.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I remember that, Cam, and shout out to John Wall for even pulling the Wizards up by their bootstraps, that they were relevant enough to have a Christmas Day game. Like that's
Preach,
it. Like,
boy. Preach.
come on, man. That's like we're talking about things. He was able to accomplish things that nobody has ever done. With the Wizards.
Yeah.
So I think that was a great moment. I love that. The 360 layup is one of the 360 layup, along with the behind the back layup, is like those are his two of his signature moves. But Wole, I really love what you said about the fact that John Wall was a true point guard. And to me, I think that that the floor general, really that type of point guard, is something that is very much missing in today's NBA. And I think that John Wall probably will be go down as one of the last of a dying breeds of those type of point guards. That a guy that could come out and take over the game and scoring in the fourth quarter when he needed to, but otherwise is really filling out the opposing team and putting his teammates in the best possible position to win basketball games. He was out there when they describe spoon feeding people in order for them to eat. Like, that's what John Wall was doing. He was putting people in position where it's like, if you don't make this, you don't belong in the NBA. Like,
no, I agree. When folks like everybody eat, like Gortat got to eat because of John Wall. Like he got to eat because of John Wall.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Now I was gonna say there's a whole basketball play, called the Gortat screen that they run, and people, other opposing teams, they teach that to their big men nowadays. But it's like, you could try to teach that, but if you don't got no John Wall, blowing by you, like, it ain't gonna work.
Facts, my guy. Facts. All right, so this is the thing I do want to ask you this, because we're running up close to like to end this stream. I want you to, what happen if John Wall is never traded by trash ass Ted Leonsis and company? How are we looking at the Wizards to this day? How are we looking at the Wizards? Oh, did I lose Troy? Oh, yeah, I lost Troy. So, all right, let me read some of these comments before, and hopefully Troy can come back. Let's see. We got.
I just got this.
You good? Oh, you good? You hear me? All right. So, did you hear my question, Troy? I said, if John Wall. Oh, did I get lost? Did I lose my guy again? All right. Let me read some of these questions before we get back to Troy. All right, Troy, you good? I think we got him.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I know you just jumped off. All right. I think we okay, hold on. Hopefully he can come back on. All right, let me read this question. All right. Alexander Wilson says, if I felt like the Wizards never fully capitalized on Wall and Bill, why was that? I feel like Bill got a little better in terms of ball handling when Wall left. I felt that it wasn't on Wall. I just felt like, and you can use coaching in play, because I do think there was an agenda to get him back on. We got my man. Hold on, let me my man Troy back. What's on, Troy?
Well,
All right.
my bad, man. Look, I'm just getting off, man. Look, trying to knock this out in my car, man. Like the service that went bad. Look, I feel bad, my brother.
No, don't feel bad. You good. Look, man, I'm glad you were able to do this, bro. Like I'm glad you're able to do this. All right, so I'm gonna ask you this question: what happens if John Wall is never traded, and Teddy Ounces did the right thing and kept him here, and he's a lifelong Wizard? How does that change the direction of the Wizards?
Well, you know what? I think that it would expedited this rebuild
Mm.
process because
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the main proponents of saying that okay, that if what the Wizards were doing wasn't working, that maybe they should try to shift into getting younger. They had opportunities to have a slight tank year or a slight, what I'm saying, where they could have
Yeah.
gotten a high draft pick, where we could have had Anthony Edwards or Cade Cunningham
Mm-hmm.
already if we would have kept one. But they traded for Westbrook. They brought him in just to chase the 8 seed, and
Mm-hmm.
so Westbrook could break the triple double record as a Wizard, and Ted Leonsis could smile next to him and hold up the jersey and do all that. They did all that, and it meant they did that, and it meant absolutely nothing, and it really just
Agreed.
hindered the rebuild process. And as soon as Michael Winger and Will Dawkins came in, they were like, "Yeah, the first thing we're going to do is hit the reset button." And so,
Mm.
I think by them trading John Wall, look, the ramifications of the John Wall trade are still affecting the Wizards to this day.
Mm-hmm.
They have an unprotected, I mean, they have a protected pick that's hanging over their heads this year, where they got to finish in the bottom eight. I mean, in the top eight of the lottery this year in order to even keep their pick. And that's based off of the John Wall Russell Westbrook trade. So yes, there are ramifications that the Wizards are feeling even to this day from having made that John Wall trade. So it's very safe for me to say that was not the correct move at the time, and even looking at retrospect.
I see my man Steven Powell. I'm gonna read your question because I don't want to be like I'm disrespectful. He says, what if John Wall didn't do that video that got him traded? I'm gonna be real with you. That video is the most BS
I,
thing I've ever seen in
so
my life.
hold on. See now, Stephen Powers. See, this is the thing. What
That
video
video,
got him traded? And so my
yeah.
thing is
Oh,
like you can say, oh, he posted some video, but like John Wall, to my knowledge, has never been arrested for any crimes. He has never been in trouble with the law. He's never been in trouble with any entity in the DMV area. And so, like, to me, I think that to say, oh, that video is what got him traded. No, I no like that. What got him traded was the fact that he was coming off an injury,
yeah.
and Ted Leonsis and Tommy Shepard no longer believed in his ability to come out and lead the franchise. And
No, I
so,
agree.
you know
I agree
that
with
that
that.
yeah, like my man John Wall's never been in trouble, never been arrested, and so like I really don't appreciate like people like Steven who like to point to that as some type of gotcha moment. And to me, like when I view John Wall and some of the problems that that people said that he had, those are things of when people go from boyhood to manhood.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
you know what I'm saying? Like he had invaluable lessons and experiences that allow him to grow and to be a responsible member of society. John Wall wasn't going out here creating trouble and doing things that made himself look crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? People can get upset about, some mistakes that he made. Now, going back when he put out a video with him throwing up gang signs, I'm sure he would not do that. But that
Mm.
doesn't mean that number one, his character should be disparaged, and number two, that was definitely not the reason why he was traded out of Washington. And for Steven to even come on here and imply that, it is really like, to me, it's kind of defaming.
No, I'm a keep it a being in terms of like I don't that is the most I don't like I hated that rumor because I thought it was like the weakest thing that anybody has ever put out there about how one could lose a job or one can get traded. because and secondly, the dude, and this I'm gonna be real, let's keep it a bean. The dude that you they traded him for, and it's not a knock. It's
It's
not
a
a
high
knock.
full blood clip. On
There
that
you
big
go,
C.
bruh,
You know what I'm saying?
bruh.
Like, my thing is that's crazy. Russell Westbrook a whole clip. He throwing up big C's. He had the Kendrick Lamar pop-out show, crip walking, dancing, doing all this stuff. But nobody had a problem with that. And
There you
Steven,
go.
like you the main one asking about this. Please, did you know that Russell Westbrook is a full crip? That he throws up the crip sign in NBA games. That when he dropped that 2020, he said he did it for the Rolling 60s and Nipsey Hussle.
That's what I'm
Like, I don't
saying. Like,
understand. People talk about things that they have very limited understanding of, and then really at the end of the day, it just makes them look silly.
yeah, Steven is saying that was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was years of behavior. Years of behavior. All right, this is the thing. All right, I do want to get into this. I'm gonna say this real quick. We're gonna end the show, the stream. Like one, like something just you stay, and I think I totally agree with you, Troy. Like when you a young man, like you got to go through, you're going through life stuff. And I'm gonna be real with you, the stuff that people are like we like tripping off of. That's what most athletes do. Is some people just get a lot of attention on it, regardless. Like him going, like the whole Rose Bar, him going like that's whatever. Folks party in the city all the time. I don't. He a young man with money, and then like to a point where, to your point, Troy. My thing about any athlete, as long as you ain't getting in trouble by the law, you know what I mean, and you perform on the court, I don't got no issue with you, to be real with you. Period.
Hey, look, and it's crazy because there's that viral video of John Wall saying, just as much as that, shout out to me for asking him that question
Yeah.
and having that quote from him, back in the day. But yeah, no, John Wall, like John, this is not just for John Wall. This is for any athlete. Like as
Yeah.
long as you're not going out there and getting arrested
Yeah.
and really putting negativity and things on your family name and the team's name, then I think that everybody deserves a little grace and leeway with how they're able to manage.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Hey, Troy, man, I appreciate you being on, man, because you know what I'm saying. You blessed with your parents, man. We got to talk about Wall, a guy that I feel like deserves a lot of respect. One of them ones. I will ask you this: where do you rank Wall in terms of all time great Wizards point guards? You know what I mean? Not player point guards. What do you put him? Where you
All-time
place
great
him?
Wizards point guards. Well, if we're
Yeah,
talking franchise, then he's got to
franchise.
be behind. He's got to be behind Earl the Pro Monroe. But to me, like I said,
Yeah.
I, I,
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a Substack post last week where I said that
Mm-hmm.
since the franchise changed their name from the Bullets to the Wizards in 1997, that John Wall is the best Wizard. Period.
Yeah,
So
it's
like
true. It's
that's not including people who played for the franchise when they were the Bullets,
yeah.
because
I'm talking about
obviously
Gil.
Earl the Pearl Monroe and Wes Unseld, these guys are more prestigious NBA players than what John Wall was able to do. But as far as the Washington Wizards concerned, when they got the G Wiz
Yeah.
mascot out there, then John Wall's the GOAT.
I agree with that. It's like it's wild because I love when Gil was here too. They both have their funny little thing. Not funny. They're both what I appreciate about both of them is they had the city lit. Both of them. That's what I do love about Gil and Wall. Like that's one thing I love. They had the city lit. They embraced it.
Yep, for sure, man.
Hey Troy, man, tell everybody how they can catch you on social and how they can catch your
All right,
great
man, they can
content, your
always
show,
catch
and
me on
everything.
They can always catch me on social media at Troy Haliburton, and follow the Cap Hoop Caucus on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
They can always go to ESPN 630 and check out the show that airs every Saturday morning at 10 a.m.
Dope.
and then the podcast drops right after that.
Dope, man. Hey Troy, thanks for being on, bro. I appreciate you, man. I really do.
Hey, thanks for having me, Wole, man. And I'm gonna bear this DC traffic
I know that's right. All right, Troy, take it easy, bro. My man, Troy, cool as hell, cool as a fan, bro, cool as a fan. All right, yeah. Let me read some of these stuff. Read some of these comments. Steven says Russ brings that Kobe attitude, and Wall didn't take it seriously. He missed he missed the winner. He missed the winner at all costs. That face of the franchise needs to bring. All right. I disagree, bro, but it's okay, man. I feel like Wall had the mentality, man. He went at the best. He always played tough against when he had that matchup against like one of the better point guards. When he played against Kyrie, he's bring his A game. Played against Steph, he bring his A game. I thought he really, even against Russ, he bring his A game. To me, Wall was one of them. Oh, hold on. Troy trying. Hold on. I think I see Troy back. You good, Troy? Okay. I think Troy. All right, I think we good. But yeah, he was one of them. Wall was one of them. So I definitely think when I look at John Wall, I thought he had that mentality just like, I mean, Russ is different, but in terms of his mentality, but John Wall had a killer mentality too. So I'm definitely gonna give John Wall his flowers on that. But yeah, for me, like I was there when John Wall hit that big shot against the Celtics, man, in that playoff. Like Troy said, that play wasn't meant for him. You know what I mean? He waved it off. He got to a spot and rose and took that shot, and you just to see like, was it called Verizon? I don't know, or is it? I guess it was Verizon at the time. Just to see Verizon like go crazy. Everybody was like the whole stadium, the whole arena, folks. It was just standing, cheering. John Wall jumps on the table and just embraces the city, and the city embraces him. Man, that moment will live forever in Wizards lore. You know what I mean? But I think there was a question out there too that was like about Bill. I feel like if they stayed together, I do think that they would have done damage in the East, being in the East. I think John Wall and Bill stayed together because I felt like John Wall helped Bradley Beal when his ball handling wasn't the best. Like they would flare Bill off screens. John Wall would find him. John Wall will always look for Bill when driving. I felt like John Wall made life easy for Bradley Beal. I think for Bradley Beal's own development, if you told me what was good for Bradley Beal's own development, I guess not having Wall because he wasn't dependent on Wall anymore. So he had to be able to dribble the ball a lot, to be dribble the ball better. You know what I mean? So in that case, I will say that Bill, if you talk about individual game and adding more to your bag, Bill needed Wall to Wall leaving help Bill out in terms of individual game. That doesn't mean about winning basketball games though. So I do think that if Bill had a John Wall, I do feel like they would win basketball games. They would win more games. Because to be honest with you, I thought Houston did them dirty. I felt like John Wall is still capable of doing some work in the NBA. Even if you look at his first few games in with Houston, they didn't want to win, and John Wall was having them compete. So like, nah, we can't have you suit up. So we don't want you to come in the building because they wanted to tank. So John Wall was still, in my opinion, capable of helping teams win basketball games. It's just that it was what it was. Teams were, I think, in the NBA, once you get labeled, I mean, I'm not talking about labeled in a bad way in terms of something negative or in terms of your personality, but once you get labeled as being like done or damaged goods, like the NBA, like that runs, bro. Like there's reasons why certain people didn't get opportunities when they still had a lot left in the tank. Look how long it took Melo to get burned or get work. And Melo wasn't even asking to be a star. Melo just wanted work just to be, just to be a role player. And they pretty much almost denied him that. So the NBA can be a very cutthroat thing in terms of, once you're labeled something, it's almost a wrap. But yeah, John Wall, man, like shout out to John Wall. And I didn't get to mention it, with Troy, but like, I just felt like John Wall should have been an all-time. He should have retired a Wizard. Like Ted Leontis, he posted something on X, congratulating John Wall's career. Like that man annoys the bejesus out of me. He can go kick rocks, to be honest with you, because you traded John Wall. I don't need you. Like that man was everything for the city, and you traded him. And to me, what you could have done if you would to show favor. It's just to sign him to a 1 year or 1 day deal, and it's like have his jersey retired, put something in do a ceremony with him. Like I would have signed him for like 1 day or a 10-day contract or something, just to have the city see that dude number 2 play for them one more time or whatever. Like especially last year when you had nothing to lose, like your team sucked. Why not have John Wall out there for like a 10-day contract or whatever? Showcase his talent, have the city go crazy, and have him retire. I think that would have been a storybook ending, something totally cool. You would have had more favor with the fans. Now fans still look at you a certain way. It's probably, and a friend of mine, Taj, on X was like, he's in the running for worst owner in the DMV right now. Like, if you did that with John Wall, you would get high favor with the Wizards fan base. So is it like, to me, like that, him sending out that tweet, I was like, it was so distant. It was so fake to me. You know, it just wasn't legit to me. I saw that tweet. I was like, I rolled my eyes. I'm glad John Wall decided to retweet that. I mean, just him being the bigger dude, but I thought that was real phony to me. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, to me, him tweeting out about John Wall, nah, I wasn't in favor of it. But yeah, man, like Troy said, man, first off, man, congratulations, John Wall, man. Hell of a career. To me, I think he's done a great job in his second career in life. I saw my NBA TV. I was like, this dude is really good. Now he's gonna be on, like Cam said, he's gonna be on the Prime, Amazon Prime, doing not play-by-play, but I guess he's doing an analyst on Amazon Prime. Thanks, Cam, for putting this up there. Like, John Wall has another act that I feel like is going to be special too, and just like he did with his NBA game, he's a student of the game. I can see him. He's going to continue to do well in this field too as well. Shout out to John Wall, man. One of the best to do it here in the DMV for the Washington Wizards Bullets. Where I would rank him, Troy has him number one in terms of the Wizards. Him and Gil is tough, man. That's a tough one. Because Gil was one of them too. But yeah, I in terms of success, yeah, I would go Wall over Gil. Mark Lerner's the worst owner in it. Yeah, definitely. He's the worst. But Ted is like, he close. He was trying to eclipse him. But yeah, I guess you can count. Are you counting the Capitals too? Because the Capitals, he does a great job with the Capitals. He just does a horrible job with the Wizards. I don't think he cares about the Wizards as much. That's my thing. As an owner for the Capitals, he's good. For the Wizards, not so much in my opinion. But yeah. Hey, Alexander, appreciate you. Steven, I appreciate you. We may not agree, but I do appreciate you, Steven. Cam, I always appreciate you. You guys, man, thank you. Thank you so much for pulling up on this stream. We got another stream actually in like 45 minutes or so. But I appreciate y'all pulling up on the stream. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Say for ages. Yedig Deuces. We are out. Peace.